The decal car, and I'm basically done. First off, the windshield here, I gotta take a little bit of alcohol and a soft rag. I gotta clean up, just clean it up real good before I actually put the future on it. But anyway, I'll do that later today. But that's done. The spoiler's done. Get it off the stand here, like so. Then we'll need to add future to that. But anyway, that's done. And the car itself, basically put on a couple of pieces, and that's the little, I call them little spike things that go on the bumper. Now, just for the pure chance if they do break off during transit, they're just held on by super glue. And all you need is a little drop of super glue and a little bit of a toothpick. You can actually put it back on and glue it on. That's what I've done. It shouldn't fall off, but you know, stranger things do happen. But it's just try to expect the worst. I went in and trimmed everything along the edges. I didn't trim too much around here. Not really a need to. Once you get the parts on, I think it'll should be flush. And if it does, if it's in the way, you can just trim off just a little more with a sharp number 11 knife, and you'll be good to go. But everything is on. Painted, got the sides there painted, the two little silver circles. Painted a few little bit of silver spots back here. Painted the black, and that's pretty much it. I just got to basically give it a good wipe down and then shoot future, but I want to show it before I do put the future on, because once future goes on, that's pretty much it, and I won't be able to do anything else to it at all. But I wanted to show the car before we get to that stage, because it's basically can't put any more solution on or anything of that nature. But there is one decal that I did screw up on, and it's not because I screwed up on. I actually put it on, and I really shouldn't have done it. And that's the little emblem symbol. Actually, the way the instruction goes, it shows that and the dashboard, and that should go on the steering wheel. But I stuck it on there because I thought it went on there. But I think it looks cool. I can't get it off, so I do apologize for that. But it does make it look cool and makes it look unique. But anyway, there is that one. I don't see any what's it called? Bubbling up decals or any air bubbles. And if there is any, that's like a little bit of the corners, if you see any in the back here at all, I think once I get future on it, it should be okay. But anyway, if you're good with it, if you see anything that I missed, let me know in the email, and I will fix it. And if you're good, just let me know, and I'll put the future coats on there, and we will be ready to rock and roll on that. Once I put future on, though, we'll do a couple more videos, show the progress of the future, and then show the final. Once the future dries and sets on it, we'll be ready to send this on its way to its original home. So that's where I stand on that. So just let me know in the email, and we'll take care of it after that. 71 Roadrunner. According to the wizards at UPS, the color is supposed to be here right around Wednesday. So I just got to hurry up and wait. So hopefully get it Wednesday. I may paint it Thursday. Probably more be the weekend before I can actually do it. But anyway, we'll get the base coat color on there very, very soon. But I did get some. I actually spent a whole lot of money on supplies this week. But anyway, I bought Olive Detailer. Been wanting that for a while. I like the Detailer. I think it gives the stuff unique finishes. I did put a olive wash on the seats there. This gives it a little more just more detail, more shadow in it, and just breaks up the monotony of it. I did get that done today, so I'll probably, next thing I'm going to do is on the rims here, I'll take probably some gray, maybe a little black mixed in, and I'll just do a little wash around the rims. It just tones down the toy-like chrome parts of it, and I think it'll look pretty slick. It won't look weathered, it'll just be just more, you'll see the shadows of it. It'll just make it look much more cooler. But anyway, that's what I've got so far on that. Hopefully by the end of the week I'll be able to paint that, and I'll probably start the die-cast car real soon. But anyway, we'll just see. I got a lot of paints going on here, so I'm going to have to try to scoop paints up so I can get projects on here. The Viper, I usually do this on Mondays, but since this is a holiday, I'm probably going to do a little more work on it than normal, but I wanted to show everyone before. So I'm going to button up the cockpit here, and I really don't paint elaborate in the cockpit. All I've done was, and I don't know if you can actually see it, I just painted dark gray, put basically a black and a dark gray wash in there, and then took a little bit of dry brushing and dry brushed the consoles. That's all I did on both sides. I added the targeting decal, and it'll light up green with the green LED. I got to add a little bit of tulip right there, and then I dry brushed a little bit on the seats just to get it a little bit warm. But once I put the figure in and button it up, you're not going to see a whole lot, and I don't like to spend a whole lot of time on the cockpit because you can't see it, and one LED will be sufficient. But anyway, I wanted to show everyone that before I get that button up, because we're going to start doing some shading and painting and all that good stuff, because once I start, I got to do pictures as we speak. But anyway, there's the Pilot. Basically basic colors, brown coat, tan pants, and I want to call it a tan helmet. I haven't put the gold on the helmet, which is the little bird on top and the black stripes on the side, but I did get the flesh tones on her, and I just took a wash and did the wash on her face, and I don't know if you can actually kind of see it. Everything is shiny. I haven't put a dull coat on or anything, and it's all basically the detailer. And I'll take a brush or a wet rag, and I'll just wipe off some of the sheen, and it'll leave the recess in the folds and everything, and you pretty much got a figure like that. And then once you put the and I don't do a lot of shading. I just let the washes take care of it, and I probably do a little bit of dry brushing on it just to bring out a little bit of highlights, because once she sits in the cockpit there, it's she's you know, the shadows will blend in anyway, and you won't really see a whole lot of too much detail on it. But anyway, that's her, and you'll probably not see the rest of hers because she'll probably be glued in there and canopy on. So I wasn't sure on that before I get because she's going to go in very, very soon. So because it's going to take me probably another month to paint it, probably, but who knows. It's going to be really quick though, because we're going to do a couple colors. But anyway, that's it on the Viper. The Super Spitfire, I am almost done. I did get the base coat on, which was like the ocean blue. I got the camo on, which is like REF green or something of that nature. I just go what the Tamiya bottle said. I pretty much followed the box there, kind of changed a little bit of the pattern. I got to paint the bottom. I painted it a light sea gray, which is not really right, but I found the medium gray that's supposed to be on it, which I'll paint that on later today. But basically what I'm going to do is just do it real lightly, just do panels and everything with the light gray there from the model there, and be ready to rock and roll. Got to paint the propeller, and then once I do future, hopefully on the car, do future on that, and I'll do future on the rat too, so I can just knock it all out at one time. Well, I'll say this. Let me say this. I got 2 Mustangs to build, and 2 190s and a Hellcat. Excuse me, a Wildcat. Wildcat's going to be built out of the box. The 190s and the P51s, I'm probably going to cheat, and they actually have a I'm actually acquired some snap fits that are already pre-built, and it's basically the same model kits, and then they're identical than the these here. So I will probably, I'm going to cheat, and I'll probably use them, and we'll figure that out in a couple days. I'll show you, Rod, what I am talking about. The kettenkrad. Let me say this: the engine is a model kit of its own. It's I mean, that was almost basically a solid week just putting together the motor here. It does get rubber hoses. You're supposed to put some little spark plugs that go in there. They look like gobs of plastic. I don't know if like right there. And once you put the glue on everything, well, I thought that's just, you're not going to see them anyway. So what I did is I just glued on the hoses into the block itself and put it on the distributor cap, and it looks just as good as putting the other two parts on. But I did get all the parts. One thing, I'm going to have to sand this. I tried sanding most of it on top. I got to sand here. I'm going to sand most of what I can, and then I'm going to actually probably take some Tamiya, which I probably don't have, probably in the tote up here. It's a Tamiya brush on primer. I'll probably do a couple coats of that and it should cover it. But I did get all the parts. That's almost a complicated machine. It's a model of itself right there. One thing I did cheat on here, and I had to do it because it just wouldn't fit, and that's the little tensioner that goes right in there. If you can see it, it actually goes on the back of the pulleys there. It wouldn't fit right, so I said, screw it. I don't like to fight models, so I put it in the front. You're not going to really see it from the top anyway. And I got that glued down, so we're good to go. One thing I'm going to do is for the serpentine belt is take some basically Tamiya tape or some form of tape and just cut a strip of the width here and fold it over and then glue it on and then glue it to where it's pretty much tight. That's how I'm going to do it. I was thinking about doing a rubber band, but I think the Tamiya tape will last longer and look a little more nicer. But anyway, there is that. I started the seat of the kettenkrad, and that's basically as far as I got. And now we're into finding the kit parts on the trees, but it's getting harder now because all of the landmarks on the trees are gone, so you got to find the little pieces and make sure you cut off the right one. So started the seat part of it, and the seat goes here, and I don't know how it works so far because I just started, so we'll get on that. The Minnie Mouses, I haven't painted the camo on that yet. I kind of like the plain, but I kind of also want the camo, so we'll just see. That one's a little more of a freebie play with, but anyway, got the camo on that. I got the tracks painted on both those. I did a little bit of a filter wash, and if you don't know what a filter wash is, it's basically, for example, paint and water. You just basically put in a little bit of a drop, you just fill it up with water. You basically want it really just very, very fluid, hardly no paint. Where's my brush here? And you basically dip it in and you let capillary action take over, and it just does a little expanded wash, and it makes it look everything more realistic, and you keep building up and get the desired effect that you need. But anyway, got the wash on that, and I just need a little bit of dry brushing and a little more weathering, and we'll be done with the little Minnie Mouses. Mig here had a set, and I've been wanting it for a while, and I'll probably do a little more on it. They did the tires and tracks. I really wanted it for two colors. I wanted it for the dark track because I haven't really figured. It's kind of a red-brown, but it's actually a excellent color for tracks. But he had a tire and rubber, and I thought NATO black was really close to rubber tires. This one actually is spot on. So anyway, I got that for the I actually got that for the kettenkrad, for the rat, and there's actually a World War World War One tank that I got to go pick up today, and we'll do that one as well. But anyway, the rat. Put it over here on the drying station. First off, me and Mr. Photo Etch here are having a hell of a time. I gotta go back in and retack the railing here. It keeps wanting to. I keep hitting it and knocking it off. So a few cuss words, and we'll get that straightened out pretty darn soon. But first off, what I did is, so I won't break the. I got the track painted, and I used a MIG track brown over there. Painted both sides. Painted the top of a track above the wheel, track on the bottom. Then I went in and I did a filter wash on here. If you can see the line there, I really shouldn't have put the line, but I did. When it dried, I didn't blend it in really good enough. But anyway, that's not an issue or a problem. I did it on both sides, and basically, I know this is a big tank, but I like to put more weathering on the sides where it should be. Then I took dark earth with the airbrush and just did light coats and everything, and got it a little more darker. Put a wash on all the road wheels. Next, I'm going to go in. I did that basically. Did the dark earth on the back, on the front here, and a little bit on the top as well. And then the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go with the pigments, and I'll start doing a little more pigments, basically some dry earth, and we're just going to lighten this up just a little bit, and then we'll do some rain streaks. But once I get the future started on there and get the get the future on the car and the Spitfire, what I want to do is I want to take a little bit of future while I have it out, get that on there, and get the German flag that goes on top, and then whatever little decals. As I'm at the stopping point where I need to put the decals on, finish out a little bit of weathering on it. But it's very, very simple. I mean, just a little bit of airbrushing, doing and some washes, and then we'll do some pigments, and it'll start really taking shape. But anyway, I wanted to show everyone that before we get too far into it. But anyway, that's what I have got going on today. We are starting to weather the rat. Decal car is done, waiting for final approval so we can put some future on it. Doing the interior of the Roadrunner car. Finishing up and weathering the Minnie Mouses. Engine detail duty on the kettenkrad. Going to button up the Viper cockpit, and the Spitfire is getting ready for its final painting and decals. The Bird of Prey, we'll discuss that tomorrow, and I should have a shed update, and actually should have multiple shed updates, so we'll do that as well. So that's what I got going on today, so stay tuned for the next exciting episode.